Hello friends, welcome to Nandi, the first step towards success. So let me continue the previous part of your cyclones. In the last video, after discussing the difference between your tropical cyclones and extratropical cyclones, I have raised a single question. So I thought many students answer that in the comment section. So let's go directly into the question now. So the question is regarding the tropical cyclone. So the definition of the cyclone itself is intense circular storm that originates over warm tropical oceans. This is the definition. Yes, and the characterized by high atmospheric pressure, high winds and heavy rain. Here you can see that the tropical cyclones run around the low pressure area. So the option 1 is wrong. And the characteristic features of the tropical cyclone is the eye and a central region of clear skies and warm temperature and low pressure area. These I have discussed in your structure of the cyclone in your previous video and it is correct. So coming to the third point, they rotate counterclockwise in the southern hemisphere and clockwise in the northern hemisphere. This is just the reverse. Yes, count anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere and clockwise direction in southern hemisphere. So the question, you have to be little cautious here because the question is asking about incorrect. So which of the following are the incorrect? The 1 and 3. So the option 3 is correct, and thank you so much that many friends answered this in the previous video in comment session. So next, how and why are cyclones are named? So why we have the names? In order to avoid the confusion and have a proper identity, yes or no? So in the similar way, cyclones may occur at a single time. That is, many cyclones occur at a single time. In order to avoid the confusion, the cyclones are named so. And particularly regarding the Indian Ocean region and also the North Indian Ocean tropical cyclone names were named by 13 countries. These are the 13 countries: Bangladesh, Iran, India, Maldives, Myanmar, Oman, Pakistan, Qatar. These are the 13 countries which names are North Indian Ocean tropical cyclones. I think this you have seen in news, that is Tokte. Recently it was named by Myanmar, and Yas it was named by Oman. I told you this in your first video. So these are the predetermined, or earlier itself they gave a list of many names. So the next cyclone is named, will be named as Gulab, and this was given by your Pakistan. So when you search for the news for the next cyclone, then definitely it will be given name as the Gulab. So Shaheen, and once they reach up to here, the next name given by India is Tej. You can find all these changes in your news. Not only the North Indian Ocean tropical cyclones are named, but also overall in the world, the cyclones are named. And named by whom? The regional specialized meteorological centers. And in the world, you have 6 regional specialized meteorological centers, and India Meteorological Department is one among it, and it's a very unique thing and you have to know it. It's very important for competitive exams. And under which ministry the India Meteorological Department comes? Friends, it is under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, and it was established before your independence, that is in 1875 itself, and the headquarters is located in the New Delhi. So these regional specialized meteorological centers and IMD names the cyclones which were developed over the North Indian Ocean, including both of your water bodies, that is the Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. And not only this gives report to itself, the IMD is also mandated to give advisory to 12 other countries in the region. This is also very important. Sometimes the question may be asked that IMD only gives reports within India. So definitely you have to eliminate that option because it also gives advisory to 12 other countries in that region. So let's discuss now about the World Meteorological Organization, because we have discussed about the Indian Meteorological Organization. It was established in 1950. When the Indian Meteorological Organization was established, it was in 1875. This World Meteorological Organization objective is to promote international cooperation on atmospheric science, climatology, hydrology, and geophysics. And it was considered as a specialized agency of UN, United Nations, in 1951, where the headquarters of this World Meteorological Organization exists. It is in Switzerland, that is in Geneva. Do India is a member of it? And yes. And why am I discussing this? Because the World Meteorological Organization celebrating its 70th anniversary in 2020. And sometimes the UPSC or many other competitive exams are fond of asking certain anniversary questions, like it may be 25th anniversary, it may be 50th anniversary, sometimes 75th, sometimes 100 years. So such type of questions are much more important when you prepare for any competitive exams. And this World Meteorological Organization is an international organization with members of 193 member states and territories. The tropical cyclones are called with different names at different regions. They are called as typhoons on or around your China Sea and Pacific Ocean, somewhere here. Yes, and they are called as hurricanes in the West Indian Islands, in the Caribbean Sea, and the Atlantic Ocean. Yes, so they are also called as tornadoes in the Guinea Islands of West Africa and southern USA, somewhere here. And they are called as willy willies in the northwest of your Australia. And they are called as tropical cyclones in the Indian Ocean. These are all are similar names, but based on the region where they occur, they are named so let's discuss now a small question, students. See here, consider the following statements with reference to the World Meteorological Organization. Just now I have discussed about this. So it is a specialized agency of the United Nations dedicated to meteorology, climatology only. When the question is about the only, then definitely you have to be little cautious. I already told you that meteorology, climatology, hydrology, and many other dedicated works are there for meteorological organization. The first option itself is wrong. So whether the question is about the correct or incorrect, they are asking about the correct. So directly sometimes in order to save the time in your competitive exams, here you found that the first option is wrong. So eliminate the first option. So you found that only two options are left and two is already there, three is already there. Yes, 2 and 3, 2 and 3. So completely you have to agree that the 2 and 3 is correct. And so let's go directly to the fourth option. Its headquarters is in Geneva. Yes, we have discussed. So first is wrong and fourth is correct. So you can directly go to this option by not reading these two options. So this is a way how you save your time in most of the competitive exams, but now it is a video you can discuss. So it publishes greenhouse gas bulletin report annually and it is correct. For giving more information about the World Meteorological Organization, I have given this question. And predictions concerning locust swarms. This was also in news. Yes, transport of pollutants, yes, are provided by World Meteorological Organization. Yes. So we in this video I did not discuss anything about these two things. So based on what information you know, you have to try to tackle the question in any competitive exam, because many times we do not know all the options in your question. So go with the elimination process itself. It saves your time and it saves your logic, and sometimes mostly or 99% you can go through your logic for answering the competitive exams. So let's now discuss about the India cyclonic corridor. So out of, we know that 7,516 kilometer coastline exists for India. That is here. Yes, I think you can see here. Out of this, 76% is prone to cyclones and tsunamis. So by this picture, you can understand that how vulnerable the coastal areas of Indian western coastal regions and eastern coastal regions for the cyclones and the tsunamis. Mostly everyone will be discussing about the disadvantages of the cyclone and how huge impact it created on the coastal regions. But now I'm going to discuss about the advantages of the cyclone. Yes, so when cyclone occurred, at certain drought areas, like where the rainfall is very less and they were waiting for rainfall, at that area sometimes rainfall takes place. And because of the cyclones, the moisture of the soil will have long time positive impact on agriculture production. This may help the farmers to some extent, not the huge torrential cyclone rain. So even the polluted areas, the pollutants in the air will come down because of the rain. And it also maintain the global heat balance, like completely we are under summer, then definitely it will decrease the temperature in that area. Not only this, it also balances the sea life, that is increased rainfall from cyclones help the river systems by flushing out the silt and carrying out the new channels and opening up the new areas of wetlands, and these are just reclaiming the ecosystem. So these are the certain important advantages of the cyclone. And not only this, they also, because of all these positive activities, the food supplies for native species also increase, then indirectly the whole ecosystem in that region of the cyclone will be in a balanced way. So friends, what are the measures to tackle the cyclones? I have divided here into short term and long term, because immediately you have to take certain measures if the area is under cyclone prone. First and foremost thing is you have to concentrate more on the rescue and relief measures. Yes, when it is possible, when you have a effective cyclone warning system, that can be possible through advanced technology itself. Before knowing about the cyclone, how can you perform the rescue and relief measures? Yes or no? And thing is, earlier you have to construct certain cyclone shelters, like cyclone shelters nearby your cyclonic regions, so that the people who are vulnerable to these cyclones have to be shifted to this cyclone shelters for temporary purpose. And when situation becomes normal, they'll be coming back to their original homes. And thing is, under certain disasters the people may feel panic. So in order to provide certain boost to the common people, public should be aware about the measures to reduce the intensity of the damage. And I found that many foreign countries are doing this, that wherever the tsunamis are frequently occurring and wherever the cyclones are occurring, the people nearby regions are getting prepared that how to tackle those situations. Maybe here also we have to follow the same or similar things. In the long time, what you have to do, our first lines of protection and our first natural defenses are mangroves. These mangroves are under threat now. The cyclone's intensity is decreased because of this mangroves. So you have to promote and protect the ecosystem of mangroves on the coastal regions. And not only this, in order to reduce the impact of the flood which was created by the cyclone, you have to preserve the wetlands and the coral reefs. As you already know that the coral reefs are under destruction, and the wetlands, we are not concentrating more on the wetlands. Even if it is not only cyclone, only urban floods, yes, so the cyclone floods, the Chennai floods, the Uttarakhand floods, because of on the name of the development, we are damaging the ecosystem. So the ecosystem of wetlands and coral reefs have to be preserved in order to reduce the flood intensity. And not only this, the structures or the dwelling areas, the residential areas on or around your cyclone prone areas have to be cyclone resilient. If cyclone occurred also, the houses and the buildings established on that area have to overcome or withstand the cyclone. And you also have to take the international cooperation and follow certain best examples of international countries. And not only this, you have to identify the vulnerable areas and create awareness in that areas, and particularly create an alternative livelihood for the fisheries section. Yes, under cyclonic conditions, the fisheries cannot do the fishing activity. So definitely they should be provided certain alternative livelihood, so that even the economic life of the common people will not get deteriorated. So students, let's see here the food for thought. That is, you have to analyze these questions. It's not by me. Up to now, we have discussed about the cyclones. Those are basic information itself. So UPSC mains do not ask directly whatever you have read in your NCRT. It asks about the analytical questions. So how the questions will be. See here. Why the tropical cyclones form mostly on the western margins of the oceans, or why not the tropical cyclones don't form in the eastern tropical ocean? This is very important. Search for this question and please do answer in the comment section. And next thing is, why do the cyclones occur mostly in the late summers itself? Why not in the winter? Yes. So occurrence of the cyclones is more in Bay of Bengal than Arabian Sea. Why? Yes, up to few years we have found this phenomenon, but now recently there was a abnormal warming of the Indian Ocean because of the climate change. Under this, there are more number of cyclones in Arabian Sea than Bay of Bengal. Recently it was in news. So that answer have to be answered here. And this I have discussed, that is the difference between your tropical and temperate cyclones. So students, do not study the NCRTs and leave it aside. You have to frame your own questions in an analytical way. Go through your previous year's questions and frame such type of questions and think about these questions, because directly the questions may not be dumped in your UPSC. And thank you. Hope you subscribe, like and share our video, and please do comment about these questions as fast as possible.